Good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get the Transportation Committee started here. Tuesday, November 2nd. All members are present. That's good. We had a meeting, hearing last night. I saw some of you there. So anyhow, it didn't run too late, and that was a good thing. So first item then is the approval of the minutes of October 5th. Would someone like to make a motion? Motion by Member Friedrich, second. Member Wachinski. Any comments or questions? Corrections? All right, ready to vote? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the recommend payment of bills and appropriation transfers. I got a letter from the auditor saying that everything was correct and it met all our policies. So has everyone had an opportunity to look at those? If so, I'd entertain a motion to pay those bills. Member Thompson, second member Lehman. Any questions on any of those bills? They're pretty straightforward. I saw we purchased some right away for some projects. And finished construction, looks like they got a big chunk of change from us this time, but that wasn't unexpected. So if we have no questions, we'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? That motion carries also. Do we have any appearances this morning?
No, we do not. Thank you, Chairman.
All right, great. First item then is 5A1, request approval of an Illinois Transit Downstate Operating Assistance Agreement. Bunch of letters there, and it's for the show bus. So I know Ms. Dick is here. I would first like to entertain a motion to get this on the floor. Member Wachinski, second by Member Lehman. All right. I don't know, Jerry, if you want to lead us first, or Ms. Dick, or however you want to deal with it.
Sure. So this dope agreement was approved in, not agreement, the grant application was approved in March. And so this is the actual agreement to receive the money. And so I can let Mrs. Dick explain it a little more probably. The one on the right, bottom right.
All right, okay. Well, I apologize. The operating agreement that was sent to you a week or so ago was incorrect. It was based on what the dope allocation should have been, but during the negotiations on the budget, it was knocked down. By statute, dope should go up by 10% every year. But the governor, during the budget negotiations, took back the 10%. And that's why, and I caught it when I looked at the GATA budget, which was online. So the total compensation amount from dope will remain at the same amount it was last year. And so with approval from IDOT, I corrected the figure within the agreement and also corrected the budget, moving that lost amount into contributed funds. It will not be a problem for us because the budget is quite high and quite aspirational. If we were actually able to meet that budget, we have enough federal money this year to cover the loss of the 10% in the dope. So that's why in the packet that was placed before you today, the dope compensation amount did go down.
All right. I just have a quick question. That the 10% increase in that the governor's withholding, was that pretty much across the board? In other words, are other transportation groups finding the same thing, or are they selecting McLean County specifically?
No, it was across the board.
Okay.
And in theory, that money then is reserved and put into a capital fund
Okay.
because it is by statute that the increase goes up. It hasn't happened yet. But
Okay.
It should. But yes, it was across a board across the state.
Okay. Any questions? Member Thompson?
With increased fuel costs, if you feel comfortable, with increased fuel costs, do you feel comfortable you'll be able to absorb that with your current budget and without?
Yes. At this point in time, through CARES and yet another federal allocation, we're receiving quite a bit more federal money than we've ever received. And that is good for the next 2 years, possibly 3, depending upon what happens in Washington.
All right. Any other questions? If not, ready to vote? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Since we have you on the hot seat there, I was gonna ask you, I know we approved some improvements for your facility up in Genoa. Have you begun any of that?
One contract is still not signed. We are still working with the architects, but we've had to shift gears a bit. Number one, because of lack of labor, which is a big concern. Not lack of labor, but lack of access to construction crews right now. And also because of COVID, we had to change from remodeling within to going toward adding an extension to keep the staff safe. And also we're having to increase our security simply because catalytic converters have become quite a target. So we are still waiting on actually, I think, 3 capital applications to have the contracts issued.
Okay, and then the other question I had was, I know the schools are having a hard time coming up with drivers. I was wondering how our fleet is, if we've got enough people to man all our buses.
This is the very first time in our history that we have not had applications when we send out advertisements. So yes, it's a terrible problem.
Okay,
We did have to restrict a few routes or suspend them a few routes because of the lack of drivers. And we're doing as much as we can, but yeah, it's an extremely difficult situation right now.
okay. All right, well, thank you. Anybody have any other questions? Okay, well, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is 5A2, request approval of the October 26th, 2021 material letting, section 21-00400-01-SG. Would entertain a motion. Member Lehman, second member Thompson. All right, Jerry, you want to lead us on this?
Sure. So this was a grant that we received from the Highway Safety Improvement Program through IDOT. And we were gonna put LED flashing stop ahead signs on a lot of the county roads leading up to state routes, county to county routes, and then some of the township routes that are leading up to county roads that are kind of high traffic, high accident areas. And so we put out a bid for this material, and Tapco out of Wisconsin was the low bidder. And we actually had 5 bidders on this material letting, which is really good. And so the price came in way below what we had estimated. We called around and got prices on these probably about a year ago, and we were working with IDOT to get the agreements and all that completed. And so they actually came in less. So we're actually going back to IDOT to use the additional money that they were allocating for McLean County. And so we got a request into them, and we're waiting to hear back from Springfield to see if we can add more locations for these signs then, or add additional 20 signs or so.
Any questions? Can you give me a rough idea how many we have? Do we have some more? I know some of the a couple of the schools have some, but do we have other flashing signs out in the county?
We got a few flashing stop signs.
Okay.
We just put a couple up on the Danvers-Uton, White Oak Road area, and then we have a flashing stop sign in Colfax that the school paid for.
Right.
But as far as on the county system, the actual LED flashing signs we don't have, so this will be a first.
Okay. All right. Any questions? Okay, we're ready to vote. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is 5A3, request approval of a 2022 motor fuel tax maintenance resolution and estimate of cost. I would entertain a motion. Member Rogal, second member Klein. All right, Jerry?
So this is our annual motor fuel tax funds that we use for maintenance. So we use a lot of oil for oil and chip work, painting, salt, signs, shoulders on the road. So just kind of different items that we have listed there in the application. I did get some okay news. We got our salt price for 21, 22, and last year we were paying $40 and a ton. It did go up to $69 a ton, which I was expecting it was going to be more around 100. So I was pleased with the $69. That's what we had actually paid in years past. So that's reflected in here in the estimate, and so it kind of allows us to do a little bit of additional more oil and chip work if we need to, or other maintenance items as it comes along throughout the year.
All right. Any questions on that? Member Thompson?
Average tons used,
We use about 5,000 tons of salt. And so we have to take, the way the contract's set up is we have to take 80% of that, or we can go to 120%, if we have to go over, if we have a bad winter and that.
And what kind of, I know we got storage, we have some in storage. What kind of tonnage do we have storage?
So
for?
we have around 5,000 stored
Okay.
right now. So I like to make sure we're full
Right.
at the end of the year, because we don't know what the prices are going to do. And then with the way this, the dates on this resolution doesn't start till January 1st, and so that way if we get any early snows, we're covered until then.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, ready to vote? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Let's see, now we are ready for number 5A4, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance, McLean County Highway Fund 0120. I would entertain a motion. Member Friedrich, second member Klein. All right, Jerry?
So this is related to the Sapphire Sky Wind Farm, and so we did resurface the Sabina Road to get that upgraded, but for a pre-construction improvement on the wind farm, and the project's been completed, and so but this money was never figured in the county's budget, so in order to account for the revenue and the expenditures to the contractor, we needed to do a budget amendment to add this in there.
All right, so do we get a direct payment from Invenergy for that, or as part of our wind farm road agreement payments take care of that?
So we have already let the project, and we've already received direct payment based on the bid price
Okay.
from Invenergy. We did go over on some aggregate shoulders that they're gonna have to pay additional amount, and then also we need to put some dirt on the. It's been too wet, but put some dirt on the kind of the front slopes to hold the rock in place, and so that's kind of accounted in this as well.
Okay, all right. Any questions, Member Klein?
So although we're making an approval for expenditure, this is actually revenue neutral.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyone else? All right, ready to vote? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Last agenda item is 5A5, request approval of a bridge construction petition for joint culvert replacement number 1, Funks Grove Township. Who would like to make that motion? Member Klein, second member Lehman. All right, Jerry?
So this is actually a culvert that we put in that was related to the floods back in June, where we had water was going over the road and actually took a portion of the road out. And so this is going down towards the Sugar Grove Nature Center. And so we kind of looked at it, and the road was in bad shape. And so we ended up decided we'd put 2 culverts in there to allow for when it does flood, to at least there'd be a release and hopefully prevent the water from going over the road. We did raise the road up probably 8 to 10 inches to help with that as well. So, if we get 7 inches of rain, it's still probably going to go over the road, but at least it has a fighting chance for the road to stay in place. We widened everything out and improved the situation. So, this was after we got to looking at it, we decided it could be a joint culvert project for the township.
All right. Any questions? Ready to vote? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, looks like next item are our project summaries. Jerry, you can go ahead and do those.
Sure. So the first one's Rop Road, and I do have a few pictures of this. This is completed. This is going from White Oak Road up to Zeebarth Road. So it's like 3 miles. This is where we went in and did what we call a cold in place recycling project, where we tilled up the existing road and then put a couple inches of hot mix over the top of that. So this is starting down at White Oak Road, and this is the intersection at Rab and Rop Road. And so we redid the curb on all 4 sides of that to help improve the drainage, and the curb was in pretty bad shape. And then this is kind of just another picture of the new guardrail and looking north towards the end of the project. But we did go over a little bit on this project. We had a mistake in the original plans with the guardrail. The guardrail quantity was short, so we had to add that to the contract basically before the project even started. So we kind of knew going in. But this is 80% federal funded and then 20% matching by us. And it also included TARP funds. So the TARP, to upgrade it to 80,000 pounds, and TARP funds will actually act as our 20% match. So really we haven't got the final numbers yet, but I don't believe the counties, there'll be any county funds expended on this project as far as the construction goes.
All right.
And then the next project is Linden Street, and so this is going from Northtown Road to Hudson, and so this is kind of starting back at Northtown Road, and we put 4-foot paved shoulders on there with rumble strips. We received a safety grant for that as well, so this is a good improvement, and turned out really well. So I got a few pictures of this, kind of just running down through here. This is just about a mile south of Hudson here in the curves, and then that's looking north into Hudson. So you can see we went to put the gravel shoulders there 4 foot wide all the way up to town, and then this is in town where we had curb and gutter, and so that was the project turned out really good, and we should be coming in under on this project just by a little bit, based on the final quantities and everything that we had.
Any questions? All right, go on now to the Olympia School Road.
Sure. So I don't have a picture of this. It's not fully completed yet. All the mainline surface is completed. We have some incidental on some intersections to put some hot mix in. We did widen the shoulders on the Olympia School Road as well, and so they got to come in and do the rumble strips and reflectors and some just miscellaneous items. But that project's almost wrapped up.
All right, any questions on that? All right, it appears that's the end of your updates as far as projects. I was gonna ask, with all this wet weather, and I'm sure there's some projects that you're still working on, do you have any major concerns about something not being able to be completed?
No, I think we're in good shape. We got some tile holes that we can't, with all these recent rains that have reared their heads. So hopefully we can get those done before before the snow starts flying. But yeah, I think we're in good shape. We got a couple crossroad culverts to do for some of the townships yet. That might be a little bit concerned, but next week's looking good, so I think we should be able to get them in.
Okay, and I know that we talked at previous meeting about erecting another one of those canvas buildings to cover, have you done that? You plan on doing that this fall?
We have not done anything. That'll probably be more in 2022.
Okay, all right. Okay, any member have any questions? Member Lehman?
Yeah, so with some of the more intense rain events that we've been getting, when you were talking about the work being done in Funks Grove Township and some of the preventative there, are there any other areas in the county that we're kind of planning ahead for in 22 or 23? Improvements that we can do to the road to better have a chance when we do get those extreme rain events?
Sure. So on the county side, we tried to at least identify those areas and tried to go in and clean the ditches out. Or on a project we did last year, we added a new culvert in a spot where water was going over the road. So um, yeah, we're trying to address those situations as we go along. On the township side, that's probably where it occurs more and where more of the issues are. And so I don't really know where all those issues are at. And if they came to us with a problem or an issue, we could definitely, we'll look at trying to fix it.
Anybody have anything else? I see we have Member Metzger. Do you have anything today, or are you just here to listen to us? All right, that's good. Does the administration have anything? All right. So it looks like that's all on our agenda. Our next meeting, I guess, would be, I don't know what the date is, would be in December. That's going to be here sooner than you know. So unless we have anything else, meeting's adjourned. Thank you all for coming.